There's a type of question that doesn't seek truth. It seeks control. And if you've ever felt that shiver down your spine, that uneasy twist in your gut, when someone asked you something that sounded innocent but felt off, then this video is for you. Because liars don't just lie with words. They lie with questions. Some of the most dangerous people you'll meet won't raise their voices, they'll lower yours. They won't strike, they'll smile. Because the most effective lies don't come wrapped in cruelty. They arrive dressed in curiosity, cloaked in concern, and whispered through questions that seem innocent, until you feel your truth slipping through your fingers. Sometimes the most deceptive questions are not asked to understand, but to control. They come not from a place of curiosity, but calculation. And by the time you realize it, you're already doubting your own memory, your worth, your right to feel. That's the art of a liar. They don't just twist facts. They twist perception. But Stoicism teaches us that not every question deserves an answer. Some only exist to bait your peace. A true Stoic doesn't react out of defense, they observe in silence, discern with clarity, and protect their integrity by withholding energy from games they never agreed to play. Stay with us until the end of the video, because those seemingly harmless questions, when revealed through the lens of Stoic wisdom, may be the very keys to unmasking the manipulators who've been controlling you all along. 1. Why are you overreacting? I've heard that question before, and chances are, so have you. Not from those who genuinely want to understand you, but from those who want to make you doubt yourself. It sounds harmless on the surface, but behind it lies a calculated tactic to make you feel ashamed of your emotions. When someone hurts you, and then turns around to question your reaction, they're not seeking understanding, they're seeking control. They don't ask to understand you. They ask to shrink you, to maintain power. But emotions are not mistakes. Emotions are signals that you're still living truthfully. You're not overreacting. You're responding appropriately to something that was wrong. And it's precisely because you had the courage to name the wrong that they feel uncomfortable. Stoic philosophy doesn't teach us to suppress emotion, it teaches us to master it. You can be angry without letting anger control you. You can be hurt without collapsing under the pain. Your calmness isn't weakness, it's the clarity of someone who knows the value of silence at the right moment. So when someone asks, "Why are you overreacting?" you don't owe them a reply. Let them witness something more powerful. You don't need to raise your voice to prove your truth. Your silence, calm, clear, and unwavering, is your strongest response. And sometimes, not reacting at all is how you reclaim control over your own life. 2. Can't you just let it go? There was a time when I believed that forgiveness meant forgetting. That peace was silence. That moving on required me to pretend nothing had happened. So when someone asked me, "Can't you just let it go?" I thought they were asking for harmony. But with time, I learned they weren't asking for healing. They were asking for escape from responsibility, from growth, from the discomfort of being held accountable. What they truly mean is, "Can't you just make it easier for me?" And that's not peace. That's pressure. It's an emotional shortcut disguised as a noble suggestion. But Stoicism teaches us otherwise. A Stoic seeks truth before tranquility, not the other way around. Letting go is not weakness, but doing so prematurely is. If something wounded you, it deserves reflection. It deserves honesty, not suppression for the sake of someone else's comfort. Because every time you bury pain to please someone, you abandon a piece of your truth. And truth, no matter how quiet, never dies. It waits. It returns. It asks again, can't you just honor what hurt you before you release it? Letting go is not forgetting. It's remembering without rage. It's choosing peace after choosing truth. And that is strength. 3. Are you sure that happened like that? This is where manipulation evolves into something more sinister, more refined. That question, are you sure it happened like that, sounds innocent, even concerned. But beneath its softness lies a sharp blade of doubt. It's not curiosity. It's corrosion. A calculated attempt to disorient you, to make you question your memory, your senses, your sanity. Suddenly, what you once knew becomes foggy. You hesitate. You start to explain. You rephrase your truth to sound less emotional. You backpedal. And in doing so, you hand over your clarity, piece by piece, to someone who never deserved it in the first place. This is not a dialogue, it's gaslighting dressed in polite conversation. It's not about resolution, it's about rewriting. And slowly, your confidence begins to crack under the weight of their insinuations. But the Stoic mind doesn't unravel so easily. Marcus Aurelius once said, if someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change. That's humility rooted in strength. That's the Stoic way, open to truth, not open to distortion. You see, correction is welcome, but confusion as a weapon? That's not honesty. That's sabotage. A Stoic doesn't cling to being right, they cling to being real. And real means staying anchored in what you witnessed, what you felt, what you know in your bones to be true. Because when someone keeps nudging you to doubt what clearly happened, they aren't building connection, they're building control. And control masquerading as care is one of the subtlest forms of betrayal. Don't fall for it. Your perception is not a liability. It's your compass. You don't owe anyone the dilution of your truth just to preserve artificial peace. You don't have to accept their version of events if it costs you your own integrity, because clarity is your right. And your memory, your unfiltered, unmanipulated memory, is sacred. 4. Why are you making such a big deal out of this? I've heard that question before. Maybe you have too. It sounds harmless on the surface, but it cuts like a blade wrapped in silk, sharp enough to wound, soft enough to go unnoticed. It doesn't just dismiss your feelings, it makes you question whether they were ever valid in the first place. But this isn't concern, it's calculated dismissal. When someone asks you this, what they're really saying is, your emotions are inconvenient to my comfort. They're not trying to understand your pain. They're trying to make it disappear by shrinking it, by pretending it shouldn't exist. But Stoicism doesn't teach us to deny pain, it teaches us to observe it, to feel it without becoming it, to acknowledge it without letting it control us, and most importantly, to never silence it just because someone else is uncomfortable facing it. The size of a wound is not defined by the one who caused it. It is defined by the one who lives with it. What may seem small to them could be a fracture in your foundation. And when they minimize your experience, it isn't because you're too sensitive, it's because they're too unwilling to grow. I've learned something. People will often dismiss your pain when they have no intention of changing the behavior that caused it. Silence makes life easier for them, not better for you. But silence is not peace. Sometimes it's just quiet suffering. And real courage is not in staying silent to keep the peace, it's in speaking up to preserve your self-respect. So no, You're not making it a big deal. You're being honest with yourself in a world that constantly encourages you to erase your truth. And that honesty, that clarity, is one of the most powerful things you can ever stand for. 5. Are you really going to throw everything away over this? That question sounds like a plea for reconciliation. But listen closer. It's not about saving the relationship. It's about saving themselves from consequences. It's not about love. It's about control. When someone asks you this, they're not honoring the pain you felt. They're trying to shame you for not pretending it didn't happen. They want to skip the hard part, the responsibility, the reflection, the real change. And they want you to help them do it. By staying silent. By staying small. But silence is not love. And pretending something is whole when it's already cracked is not strength, it's self-abandonment. A Stoic knows that true strength isn't found in clinging to what hurts. It's found in releasing what no longer aligns with your values. You don't walk away because you hate them. You walk away because you've chosen to stop betraying yourself. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. And sometimes, if it is not safe, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you must not stay." Walking away isn't about throwing everything away. It's about refusing to carry what was never truly yours. You're not burning bridges, you're setting boundaries. You're not erasing love, you're redefining self-respect. When they frame your decision as destruction, it's because they only valued the relationship when they could write the rules. But your boundaries are not the fire, they are the freedom. They are the proof that you are no longer available for half love, half truth, or half growth. So no, you are not throwing everything away. You are honoring everything you gave. And now, you're making the boldest move of all, not in anger, but in alignment. Not to punish them, but to protect the peace you finally realized you deserve. You're not walking away from love, you're walking toward it, within yourself. There comes a moment, quiet but undeniable, when you realize the truth isn't up for debate. Not everything broken must be fixed. Not every wound needs to be explained. Sometimes, the most courageous thing you can do is to walk away, not in anger, but in unwavering clarity. I've learned this the hard way. There was a time when I thought silence meant defeat. That if I didn't defend myself, they'd win. But the truth? The moment I stopped trying to be understood by those committed to misunderstanding me, I became free. You see, the questions liars ask aren't meant to open dialogue. They're crafted to twist, to confuse, to make you question your worth instead of their behavior. But a Stoic doesn't argue with deception. They don't chase validation from chaos. They choose calm. They choose alignment. They choose themselves. There's a quiet power in choosing not to explain. In watching someone twist the story and still refusing to play their game. That's not weakness. That's restraint. And restraint is the foundation of all strength. You are not cold for choosing peace. You are not selfish for setting boundaries. You are not dramatic for protecting your truth. If anything, you are finally honoring the strength that's been inside you all along. So when the moment comes, and it will, when you are asked to sacrifice your integrity for the illusion of harmony, pause. Then walk away. Head high. Heart steady. You don't need revenge. You don't need applause. You only need to remember this. Your silence is your sword. Your stillness is your rebellion. And your peace is your power. If this message finds you in that crossroad moment, welcome. Stay. Reflect. Subscribe. You're not alone on this path. and together, we grow not louder, but deeper. Shield emoji, walk away. Not to escape the noise, but to return to your strength.